These strikes on Syria take place amidst a political storm here at home, including a primetime interview set to air right here on ABC tomorrow night with the fired FBI Director James Comey.
Yeah, Comey sitting down with George in an exclusive interview and making startling and really unprecedented comments about a sitting president. ABC's David Wright covering the story for us this morning.
As you headed into Trump Tower that day, were you nervous?
Yes.
Comey told George about that first Trump Tower meeting in which he and other intelligence officials briefed the president-elect about Russia's interference in the 2016 election.
President-elect Trump's first question was to confirm that it had no impact on the election. And then the conversation, to my surprise, moved into a PR conversation about how the Trump team would position this and what they could say about this.
He also describes how he then asked to meet one-on-one with Trump to warn him about the dossier compiled by former British spy Christopher Steele, detailing allegations of Trump's ties to Russia.
Did you tell him that the Steele dossier had been financed by his political opponents?
No. I don't even think I used the term Steele dossier. I just talked about additional material.
But did he have a right to know that?
That had been financed by his political opponents? I don't know the answer to that. It wasn't necessary for my goal, which was to alert him that we had this information.
How graphic did you get?
I think as graphic as I needed to be.
The dossier includes explosive, unverified allegations that Russia may have filmed Trump in the company of prostitutes in a Moscow hotel room during the Miss Universe pageant back in 2013. Allegations the president vehemently denies.
And he interrupted very defensively and started talking about it. You know, do I look like a guy who needs hookers? And I assumed he was asking that rhetorically. I didn't answer that, and I just moved on and explained, sir, I'm not saying that we credit this, I'm not saying we believe it. We just thought it very important that you know.
On Friday, Trump tweeted back with fury, calling Comey an untruthful slimeball who should be prosecuted. Quote, James Comey is a proven leaker and liar. Talking points later picked up by the White House press secretary.
This is nothing more than a poorly executed PR stunt by Comey. One of the president's greatest achievements will go down as firing Director James Comey.
The White House and the president's allies on Capitol Hill are focused on the memos that Comey leaked about his private conversations with the president. They insist that those memos were classified government business and that sharing them publicly was a crime. Comey insists that nothing that he shared was classified. Dan and Paula?
David, thank you. And a reminder, you can see George Stephanopoulos' full exclusive interview with Comey this Sunday night, a special edition of 2020 at 10 Eastern right here on ABC.
For more on everything we've been discussing this morning, we want to bring in ABC News political analyst Matthew Dowd. Matt, not a whole lot going on in the news department this morning.
Another dull Saturday.
Okay, so let's just start with Comey. What are the potential consequences for Trump with this new book that's out?
Well, I think, as we saw with the previous book that came out that laid out some accusations of Trump, the Michael Wolff book, it puts Donald Trump and the administration in the bad position of not being able to do their day job, which is obviously governing the country, and as we've seen, what's going on internationally. So I think that's a huge problem. But the other part, it obviously brings into play all of the legal questions and all of the legal issues that the president and this White House and people associated with this White House are involved in.
There's another big story brewing this morning. We're going to dive more deeply into it in the next half hour, but it involves the president's personal attorney, Michael Cohen, who spent the day in court on Friday trying to get back these documents and other items seized in these extraordinary FBI raids against him, his office, his home, his hotel room. The New York Times is saying this morning that the president is more concerned about this Michael Cohen investigation, his personal attorney, than he is about the Mueller probe. Why would that be?
I think the president is actually right to be more concerned about this. Now we have a different investigation done by the Southern District, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, who can go in many different directions. It's not just collusion now, and it's not just obstruction of justice. It can be a whole batch of other directions. And Michael Cohen, to me, reminds me of the custodian in high school. He's got all the keys on his belt for every room in the school, and he can let this U.S. attorney in every single room in the school, for every aspect of this, whether it's finances, whether it's payoffs, whether it's all the deals in New York. Now that U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York has access to go after all of those things, and I think it's more problematic.
And that judge and that attorney, both Trump appointees.
Both Trump appointees in the midst of this.
All right. Matt Dowd, you going to come back tomorrow, maybe?
I would love to be back here tomorrow.
It's always great to have you in
We
studio.
can just camp out here.
You're always welcome.
We just wait on the tweets to come in, and we can just come in.
They'll be coming in. All right. Thanks, Matt.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.